knocks and niggles after the Wicklow game, all right, but most of them are nearly cleared up at this stage. We've Mark Timmins, all right, who's had a hamstring injury for a while, but he's making progress on that as well.
So close enough to a full squad then?
Yeah, very close to it. Yeah, well, we have Dennis Booth, who's under suspension at the moment, so he won't be taking part in it.
Will the temptation be to put Timmins straight back in at full back, or is there a decision to be made there given how Paul played the last time?
Well, first of all, we have to wait for his recovery from injury, whether he will be available for us, and then obviously we have to make a decision as to the team which won't be big until next week.
It's obviously a massive task taking on Dublin. They're the All-Ireland champions and they've hit form early this year as well.
Yeah, they're the All-Ireland champions, they're the league champions, and they're Leinster champions. They've been moving very well for the last year or two. I suppose they're trying to retain the All-Ireland title as well. But I suppose I don't think that there's any team in the country unbeatable. I suppose the way that we go into any game is we go into it with a very positive attitude, and we go into every game with the view to winning it, and that's the way that we're going to approach this game as well. I have a lot of faith in these lads, and I think they have a lot of belief and confidence in their own ability as well.
What were your feelings about the performance against Wicklow?
Obviously, it was very pleasing to have the performance itself, and also it was pleasing to get the win. And I suppose in addition to that, it was good to get the win, it being the first Leinster Championship game that Wicklow or Laois have won in 3 years. A number of lads made their debuts, so it was good from that point of view. I thought our discipline was very good on the day. Lads knew their roles and responsibilities, and I suppose what was pleasing as well was that we put up a high score.
Colin Begley's back in your panel now. He's going to be back in contention, I'd imagine, to start against Dublin.
Yeah, like Colin's been training away all along. He's very enthusiastic and is doing very well in training, as he always is, and he's available for selection the next day.
He's had no drop in motivation since?
No, as I said, like after the Wicklow game, that Colin was a vital part of our panel, which he is, and he's available for selection the next day, and he's really looking forward to the game the next day.
There's no ideal time to be facing the team with so much silverware, or is there? Do you think that hitting them in the first round for them is the best time to get them?
Well, I suppose we have played a game all right, which has probably helped to us. Is it? I don't think it does really. The lads they're used to playing in Croke Park. They're well conditioned at this stage, and whenever you meet them, it's a championship game. It's all up for grabs, whoever you meet.
How much is Croke Park a factor, particularly when you're going from playing in Auckland and now in Croke Park?
Well, I don't really think that Croke Park could be seen as an away venue for any team. I think it's a kind of a mecca in a way, and players look forward to going in, playing in there, and I think it inspires players to play at their best.
Are you where you want to be with this panel as you come into your second championship match? I'm sure there were plans laid down, foundations laid, if you like, but following the league, do you think you're getting the best out of your players? Will we see another 20-30% coming out against Dublin?
Well, I think so far in the championship I'm pleased enough with them. I suppose we have to concentrate on the small little details for the next game, and we just need to work on those and go in with, as I said, with a very positive attitude into the game.
How do you plan for facing a team like Dublin? They probably could pick 3 starting 15s of equal strength.
Well, they have a very strong team, but I think for us, we focus on ourselves. What we're going to do, what tactics we're going to use, and that's the way we plan it.
Is there a danger of talking them up too much? Like, have they suddenly become one of the greatest teams ever overnight with maybe not having done all that yet?
Well, I think that we have to, I suppose, accept that they have done very well in the last few years, and they have a very good team. As I said, I don't think any team, no matter where they are in the world, are unbeatable. Obviously, Dublin are going to be very, very difficult to beat, But I think we've seen, last year with Kerry in the first half and Cork even this year in the first half, that they've put it up to Dublin. But in fairness to Dublin, they did turn it around in the second half. And I think it shows that, you can't really expect to beat Dublin by just playing 20 minutes or half an hour's football. You really have to play for the full 70 minutes.
Given that Dublin would be raging hot favourites in most people's minds, that sort of takes some of the pressure off you.
Well, I suppose we're going into the game, as I said, I have a lot of faith in these lads, and they have a lot of belief in their own ability as well. And we're looking forward to going up there the next day and playing one of the top teams in a great stadium up there. We don't have any inhibitions or anything about it. We have a lot of confidence in ourselves.
You mentioned the way Cork and Dublin played, or the way that Cork and particularly Kerry last year played against them was about going at them. Is that maybe the key against Dublin, to make sure whatever chances you get, you take them on the front foot as well?
I think now I'm going to be telling you all our tactics for the next day.
Without giving away a state secret.
I suppose you have to take every game as it comes, and you can't really stand back, and you have to go at a game. When it's there, when the ball is thrown in, you have to get into action straight away.
Just I'm thinking it's maybe a different way to how Laois have played in the past. Say under Justin, it was more about trying to restrict Dublin the last two times they played them, versus maybe if they'd gone at them, they might be able to get behind them.
Well, I suppose you were talking there maybe about 2 years ago in 2012, that game where Laois came very close and they did very well that day. But I think it's different management now. It's a lot of different personnel. Rules have changed. The game has changed a good bit even in 2 years. So I suppose the way that I look at it is when you have the ball, you need to attack with it and get the ball up to the other end of the field to finish. And then when you don't have the ball, you just have to defend and roll up the sleeves.
What are your thoughts about those rules? Because obviously this week it's been discussed an awful lot about the black card particularly.
Yeah, well, I suppose there has been a bit of inconsistency over the last few weeks. All right, I suppose you're really talking about the black card. I thought during the league that we saw a lot of scoring in the league because of it, and a lot of open play, which is fantastic for spectators. I suppose with the refereeing side of it, as I said, there seems to be a bit of inconsistencies, but I think the meetings that were held last night will hopefully solve a good few of those things. We have played a championship game down in Wicklow, and I felt that the referee we had that day, Rory Hickey from Clare, I thought he did an excellent job on it.
Yeah, I mean, just today or in the last 24 hours we've had James Horn saying maybe time for them to go semi-pro, the referees, and we had Jim Gavin this morning saying maybe time for 2 referees. I know Mickey Hart said last week you'll probably have 2 inconsistencies in the one game if you have 2 referees, but have you any thoughts on any of those, or of them being practical or feasible, or?
Well, I think when anything new is being brought in, okay, there's always going to be teething problems, whether it's going to be with players or whether it's going to be referees or whether it's with spectators understanding the rules. And I think that has been the case in this situation. And I think obviously the jury's still out on it, and I think we need to wait until the end of the year to judge on whether the black card is good or not, because in the intensity of the game steps up in the championship.
Do you have to train your players in a certain way in tackling now because of the black card?
Well, no. There's just one way to tackle properly, and you just have to do that all the time. You had that before. If you didn't tackle properly, you're going to get a free against you. So you don't want to be giving easy frees away.
Is there greater self-awareness among players of it as a result? I mean, Dublin came through the league with no black cards, for instance.
Yeah, I think we came through quite clearly with black cards as well. Yeah, players are very conscious of it. That they don't want to be sent off after 3 or 4 minutes in a game, or giving away frees either.
Just on the game, Tomas, how important is it to get off to a good start? Because if Dublin get a run, it might be very difficult to get back into the game.
Yeah, look, once the ball is thrown in, you just have to get into the game straight away. And as I said before, like if you expect to beat Dublin playing 20 minutes of football, that can't be. You have to play for the full 70 minutes. So it is very important to get a good start.
And I suppose perhaps in the league there was times where you maybe didn't play for the 70, maybe in some games went 10, 15 minutes without a score. It's going to be very important that you do play consistently, start to finish.
It is, yeah. But I thought, in the game against Wicklow that, we turned that around a bit and, we kept in the game all the time and I felt we finished strongly. Obviously it's a different game the next day and we just have to go with it right from the start.